My friends, there comes a moment in every believer's life when heaven begins to shift things in their favor. A moment when God whispers to the heart, "Get ready, because what I'm about to do will exceed everything you've seen before." And today, that message is for you. Wealth is coming. Elevation is coming. Breakthrough is on the way. But you must guard your heart from doubt, because doubt is the enemy that tries to steal what God has already prepared. You may look at your current situation and think, "How can this be? My resources are small, my opportunities are limited, my path looks blocked." But let me tell you, God does not need a perfect environment to bless you. He only needs a willing heart, a believing spirit, and a faith that refuses to bow to circumstances. God specializes in turning the unlikely into the unstoppable. He takes the overlooked and makes them overflow. He takes the rejected and turns them into rulers. He takes the empty and fills them with abundance until their cup runs over. When God decides to elevate you, no human can stop it. No mistake can cancel it. No enemy can block it. No delay can deny it. Heaven has a timing, and when that timing arrives, what was hard becomes easy, what was slow becomes sudden, and what was impossible becomes inevitable. The season you're stepping into will not require you to force doors open. God Himself will open them. The wealth that is coming is not the result of human effort alone. It is the result of divine alignment. It is the blessing that overtakes you when you walk in obedience and faith. But here is the challenge: doubt. Doubt tries to convince you that nothing is changing. It whispers, "You've waited too long, you've prayed too many prayers, you've tried and failed too many times." Doubt is a liar. It blinds you to the movement of God. It makes you focus on what you lack instead of what God is preparing. If you allow doubt into your mind, it will anchor you to the ground when God is trying to lift you to a higher level. That is why you must silence every doubt, every fear, every negative voice, and declare boldly, "My elevation is coming. My wealth is on the way. My breakthrough has already begun." There are blessings that have your name on them, blessings crafted for your purpose, your gifts, your calling, your assignment. No one else can take what God has reserved for you, but you must expect it. Expectation is the atmosphere where miracles grow. When you expect great things, you prepare for great things. You speak differently. You walk differently. You pray differently. You stop talking like a victim and start talking like someone who knows God is about to change their level. You may feel like you've lived in lack for too long, but lack is not your destiny. You may have been overlooked, but being overlooked is not your identity. You may have struggled financially, spiritually, or emotionally, but struggle is not your final chapter. God is a God of restoration, acceleration, and divine reversal. He does not elevate you based on your past. He elevates you based on His promise. And His promise is this: I will make you the head and not the tail. I will lift you up. I will bless the work of your hands. I will give you abundance. Sometimes before elevation comes, God allows you to feel pressure. Pressure trains your faith. Pressure cleanses your heart. Pressure pushes you into a greater version of yourself. When Joseph was in prison, he thought he had been forgotten, but heaven had already scheduled his elevation. One night he went to bed as a prisoner, and the next day he woke up as a ruler. That is what God can do. One moment can shift your entire life. And I declare over you, that moment is coming. Wealth is coming. Favor is coming. Opportunities are coming. Resources are coming. Connections are coming. God is about to lift you to a place you could never reach on your own. But you must not doubt it. Doubt delays what faith accelerates. Doubt limits what God wants to enlarge. Doubt shuts the door that faith tries to open. This is the season to push every doubt out of your spirit and embrace the truth of God's promise. If God said He will elevate you, He will elevate you. If He said He will bless you, He will bless you. If he said wealth will come, not by your strength, but by his power. So lift your eyes, lift your expectations, lift your faith. Something great is breaking open in your life. Something divine is unfolding. You are stepping into a higher level, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and purposefully. God is about to show you that he has not forgotten the seeds you've sown, the prayers you've cried, the sacrifices you've made. This is your season of elevation. Don't doubt it, believe it, declare it, and prepare for it. Because wealth is coming, favor is coming, and God is about to lift you to a place that will testify of his glory. When God speaks elevation over your life, it does not begin in the place you can see. It begins in the realm you cannot see. Most people look at their surroundings and make the mistake of assuming that what they see is all that exists. But faith teaches you that while your eyes show you your current reality, your spirit shows you your coming reality. You may not notice any signs of change on the outside, but that does not mean God hasn't already initiated something in the spiritual realm on your behalf. Heaven often moves quietly, preparing pathways, shifting circumstances, softening hearts, opening opportunities, and positioning blessings long before you become aware of them. God rarely announces the beginning of your breakthrough. He allows you to discover it at the appointed time. This is why belief matters so deeply. Elevation is released by God, but activated by faith. There are seasons where you must believe more in what God has spoken than in what your eyes can see. You must trust the promise more than the process. Many people abort their own blessings not because God didn't release them, but because doubt blocked their ability to receive them. Doubt shuts the door God is trying to open. Doubt makes you shrink when God is calling you to rise. Doubt convinces you that the silence means nothing is happening, when in truth the silence often means everything is happening. Think of a seed beneath the soil. If you look at the ground, you might think nothing is occurring. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, life is developing, structure is being created. If you judge the situation based on what you see, you would assume the seed is dead. But in reality, the seed is preparing for the moment it breaks through the ground. In the same way, God has planted things in your future that are already growing, even when your life looks unchanged. He may not show you the roots, but he promises you the harvest. He may not reveal the process, but he guarantees the outcome. Your belief is the force that keeps you aligned with God's timing. When you believe before you see, you demonstrate trust. When you believe before you see, you create space for God to work. When you believe before you see, you allow heaven to complete what it started. God does not require you to understand everything. He simply requires you to agree with him. Agreement opens doors. Agreement accelerates destiny. Agreement invites elevation. Some of the greatest moves of God begin with the smallest whispers of faith. When you wake up and say, God, I trust you even when it doesn't make sense, something shifts in the spiritual realm. When you declare, something good is coming even if I can't see it yet, you align yourself with heaven's plans. When you walk by faith and not by sight, you put yourself in position to receive blessings that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. God does not respond to fear. He responds to faith. He does not reward doubt. He rewards expectation. This is why you cannot allow your present circumstances to intimidate you. What you see today is not the full story. God is orchestrating things behind the curtain. He is setting up divine appointments, preparing unexpected opportunities, and moving pieces you didn't even know were part of the puzzle. The same God who opens doors in one moment can turn an entire situation around in an instant. He does not need years. He needs obedience. He does not need explanations. He needs belief. He does not need perfect conditions. He creates perfect timing. There are moments when you feel like nothing is changing, yet spiritually everything is shifting. You may be in the same house, the same job, the same routine, the same challenges, but something invisible is making its way toward you. Blessings often travel silently. Honor often approaches quietly. Breakthrough often walks without footsteps. But when it arrives suddenly. Suddenly the phone rings. Suddenly the opportunity appears. Suddenly the door opens. Suddenly the struggle ends. Suddenly the breakthrough manifests. People will think it happened overnight, but you will know it did not start at the moment of manifestation. It started the moment you believed. This is why guarding your faith is essential. You cannot allow negative voices to convince you that God has forgotten you. You cannot allow delay to translate as denial. You cannot allow temporary setbacks to make you question permanent promises. God works in layers. He works in seasons. He works in stages. Just because the stage looks empty does not mean the performance is not ready. Just because the canvas looks blank does not mean the artist is not at work. Just because your life feels still does not mean God's power is still. Believe that your elevation has already been released. Believe that what you prayed for is already moving in your direction. Believe that your breakthrough is already in motion. This is not blind optimism. It is spiritual alignment. It is trusting the God who cannot lie, who cannot fail, who cannot break his promise, and who never starts something in your life without finishing it. Every struggle you faced, every tear you cried, and every battle you fought was not just a moment of pain. It was preparation for who you are becoming. Nothing in your life has been wasted, even the seasons that felt unfair, the disappointments that broke your heart, and the delays that stretched your faith were shaping you into the person who can handle the elevation God is bringing. You were not being punished. You were being prepared. You were not being reduced. You were being refined. God does not elevate people who have not been strengthened by process, and your process has been the training ground for your rise. There were moments when you thought you were losing, but you were actually learning. There were situations you thought were setbacks, but they were developing resilience inside you. God uses hard seasons to build the character needed for high places. Promotion without preparation becomes a burden, not a blessing. That is why God allowed certain things to unfold in the way they did. When you questioned, why this? Heaven was answering, because I'm building you for more. When you felt overlooked, God was training you to stand strong even when people don't see your worth. When you endured losses, God was teaching you how to remain anchored in Him rather than in circumstances. Look back at what you've survived. Those were not random storms. They were divine classrooms. You learned endurance when everything in you wanted to quit, but you kept moving forward. You learned patience when nothing changed for months or even years. You learned humility when God stripped away your pride and taught you to depend on Him fully. You learned compassion because your pain gave you understanding for others. You learned strength because your battles forced you to discover the power God placed within you. You learned wisdom because you had to make decisions in moments where you didn't even have clarity. All of that training was intentional. Where God is taking you requires depth, not just desire. Elevation requires maturity, not just enthusiasm. The truth is, if God had elevated you earlier, you might not have been ready. You might have mismanaged the blessing. You might have surrounded yourself with the wrong people. You might have lacked the endurance to sustain it. There are blessings that can only stay in your life if you've been through enough storms to appreciate them. There are opportunities that can only open for people who have been strengthened enough not to break under pressure. There are doors that require spiritual muscles. You only build those muscles by carrying weight in difficult seasons. Your struggles were also pruning moments. God removed people who were not part of your future. He closed doors that were beneath your calling. He ended seasons that no longer aligned with your destiny. Each loss felt personal, but it was actually purposeful. People walked away, but they needed to. Opportunities slipped through your fingers, but they were not meant for the version of you that God was creating. Every disappointment was actually divine protection. Every no was a setup for a better yes. Every closed chapter was making room for something greater. Many times you prayed for an easier life, but instead God gave you strength. You prayed for speed, but God gave you patience. You prayed for answers, but He gave you faith. That is not because God ignored your prayers, but because He was preparing you for the kind of elevation that requires a strong foundation. You are not stepping into ordinary blessings. He is preparing you for blessings that demand capacity, discipline, courage, and vision. And the only way to gain those qualities is to walk through the fires that burn away weakness and reveal strength. Your battles also exposed your true identity. You learned who you really are. You discovered resilience you didn't know you possessed. You saw God carry you in ways you never expected. You learned that you can survive heartbreak and still rise. You learned that you can lose everything and still be restored. You learned that when you hit your lowest point, God's hand became your lifeline. All of these experiences shaped you into someone who can walk into destiny without fear, without doubt, and without apology. Nothing qualifies a person more than survival. You have survived storms others would have collapsed under. You have endured seasons others would have surrendered to. You have stood through pressures that would have broken weaker people. That endurance is not accidental. It is evidence of divine preparation. God does not elevate the comfortable. He elevates the faithful. You have proven your faithfulness not by perfection, but by persistence. Every time you got back up, heaven noticed. Every time you trusted God despite the pain, heaven took record. Every time you stayed committed when you felt like giving up, heaven said, "This one is ready." Your past struggles have shaped you for the future blessing. They didn't disqualify you. They qualified you. They didn't destroy you. They developed you. What you walked through has prepared you for what you're about to walk into. There are blessings, opportunities, and resources already moving toward your life, and you don't even realize it yet. God is aligning things in the background so perfectly that when they arrive, you will know without a doubt that it was His hand making it happen. Wealth is not limited to money. Wealth is also peace, clarity, influence, relationships, strategies, and divine connections. When God elevates you, He elevates every area of your life. He doesn't just add to you, He multiplies you. He doesn't just open one door, He opens doors no one can shut. This next season is not about you chasing opportunities. It is about opportunities chasing you because of the favor God placed on your life. What's coming toward you is bigger than anything you lost, greater than anything you imagined, and more strategic than anything you could have planned. You're not stepping into random blessings. You're stepping into prepared blessings. God is not improvising your future. He has already mapped it out. There are people you have never met who are preparing to recommend you. There are conversations happening about you without your knowledge. Someone is looking for the exact talent, gifting, personality, or skill that you carry. Someone is thinking about investing in someone like you. Someone is praying for the solution that you were born to bring. God is orchestrating these connections with divine precision. The favor coming toward you will make things effortless that used to be difficult. There were seasons where you had to struggle for every inch of progress, fight for every opportunity, and pray for strength just to keep going. But the season you're stepping into will feel different. The grace on your life will begin to attract what you used to pursue. You will find yourself walking into rooms you didn't even ask to enter. You will see doors opening before you even knock. You will witness resources showing up right when you need them. What once felt impossible will suddenly feel natural because God's timing creates ease where your effort once created exhaustion. God is also aligning the right people to walk with you. Some of the people who left your life had to leave so that the right ones could enter. Not everyone can go with you to the next level. Some people were connected to your past, not your future. But the people coming toward you now will support your purpose, elevate your mindset, honor your growth, and protect your calling. These are people who will multiply you, not drain you. They will bring joy instead of stress, clarity instead of confusion, and strength instead of struggle. God is sending relationships that are divine appointments, not temporary distractions. There are also divine ideas heading your way. Inspiration will start to flow like never before. Creative thoughts, business strategies, and fresh insight will come to you unexpectedly. Problems that once confused you will suddenly become clear. You will find solutions in places you never looked before. God gives ideas as seeds that grow into harvests. And the ideas coming your way will not only bless you, they will bless others through you. These ideas will open doors, generate income, transform your mindset, and shift your entire trajectory. Do not be surprised when opportunities arrive that you didn't apply for or qualify for on paper. God does not elevate you according to human standards. He elevates you according to divine purpose. His favor bypasses rules, limitations, and expectations. His hand can take you where your resume cannot. His grace can put you in rooms your background doesn't match. His blessing can position you for things you never thought possible. When God declares elevation over your life, no system, no person, no circumstance, and no force of darkness can block it. As wealth and favor move toward you, life will begin to feel like it's shifting from the inside out. You may start sensing that something is about to happen even before it does. Your spirit often knows before your eyes know. You feel a pull toward destiny, a stirring of expectation, a renewed sense of hope. That is not emotion, it is spiritual alignment. You are picking up the signal of what heaven is releasing. God never elevates you without first preparing your heart to receive what He's sending. The key is not to doubt what you cannot yet see. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. God doesn't ask you to see the path. He asks you to trust Him as He leads you into it. Don't talk yourself out of what heaven is preparing to give you. Don't let fear convince you that you're not ready. Don't let your past tell you that you are unworthy. Favor does not come because of perfection. It comes because of God's promise. Wealth does not come because of luck. It comes because of His purpose. Open doors do not come because of coincidence. They come because you are stepping into your appointed season. Everything God promised is drawing closer. Every blessing, every breakthrough, every opportunity, every connection, every resource, it's on its way. And when it arrives, you will understand why the wait was necessary, why the preparation was important, and why none of your tears were wasted. Your life is standing on the edge of a divine shift. Everything you walked through, everything you endured, and everything you prayed for has been leading you to this moment. Heaven has already spoken over your future, and the word is elevation. What God is about to release will not look like anything you've experienced before. It will be bigger than your past, stronger than your pain, and greater than your expectations. This is not the season to shrink fear or doubt. This is the season to rise with bold faith. Believe that what's coming is better than what's been. Believe that God has already arranged what you need. Believe that the doors ahead are prepared specifically for you. The same God who carried you through struggle is the one who is leading you into abundance. You didn't come this far to stay where you are. He is taking you higher. So step forward with confidence. Lift your head, strengthen your spirit, and open your heart. Wealth is coming. Favor is coming. Opportunities are coming. Your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your steps are being ordered toward blessing, increase, and supernatural provision. God is about to elevate you in a way that leaves no question about who made it happen. Walk in expectation. Stand in faith. Refuse to doubt. Because the season you're stepping into will prove one thing. When God decides to elevate you, nothing on earth can hold you down. Your breakthrough is not coming. It has already begun.